What's going on, everyone? This is your boy Ice Revolver on another episode of the AGN GAMECAST. I think this episode 10, if I'm not mistaken, of the GameCast. Yeah, I want to say it's 10. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we'll find out in the editing process. Today, I just want to speak a little about the history of Battle Royale, as we know, at least this generation, or the last. Actually, probably the last 2 decades, actually. It goes back that far. For those of you who don't know, and then we'll get into the hype around Battle Royale modes as of lately. Right, so let's start with, and this is to my knowledge and some research, right? So there was a book, so we're going back 20 years. I actually think it goes back further than that. I've seen some things in Asian text along the lines of Battle Royale, but I couldn't read those. So I'm accrediting this originally, even going back almost 20 years, it's still accredited to an Asian book, or an Asian set piece. But this I can read. So the Battle Royale, around the year 2000, there was a book entitled Battle Royale, or something similar to Battle Royale, right? And the concept was, I think it was 9 or 10 people was dropped on the island, and it was to the death, right? Now you can even take us back to a long time ago, to gladiator days, the Coliseum, or whatever the case is, and I'm pretty sure it'll be relevant also. Probably around the world, Coliseum, it's the last man standing. Hell, you can even go to probably movies a long time ago, or shows, including that probably way more than 20 years ago from when I was a kid. I mean, it was called there was one show called The Highlander, where people were strong and that, and they fought around the world to be the strongest. And when you killed another Highlander, you kind of gained his power, or his or her power, and some of their abilities. And at the end, the goal was to be the only one Highlander, only one, right? Of course, this is again expounded upon. It's not on the island. It's not in any particular area. This was around the world. But when they found each other, it was like on site. It was like a battle royale using the entire globe, right? I would call that a battle royale. Yeah, I can go to more, but let's kind of go there with it, right? Or the matter of fact, no, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You take the original piece of Afro Samurai, right? There was more than 2 headbands at one point in time. If anybody knows the anime of Afro Samurai, right? Which was in 2009. Originally there was more than 2 headbands, and then the goal of that is still to be the number 1. Again, this is loosely based on what we know of Battle Royale now, but it's the same premise of these X amount of people is involved in this tournament to the death, to be at the end there can only be one. It's supposed to be one, right? So let's go. In 1999, there was a book entitled Battle Royale. Pretty sure the Asian term of it was something different, but it goes to the Battle Royale. If you look it up on Google or Wikipedia, it's going to say Battle Royale. They released a movie in the year 2000 called Battle Royale, where it was these 9 to 10 people or children, I believe something like that, like teenagers or so, and it was to the death, one standing. Fast forward 2003, they released a part 2 called Battle Royale Requiem, right? 2003. In 2007, the movie Condemned comes out, featuring the wrestler Stone Cold Steve Austin, which was, to me, I like that. I really, really like that movie, but I like Stone Cold, so I might be biased. Shout out Stone Cold, right? That was in 2007. The Hunger Games starts this run in 2012. Then they go to 2013, 14. I think it's every year after that for 4 or 5 years, something like that. Right? But we just going around the time it started. So right now in the movies aspect, we have 2000, 2003, 2007, 2012. Now there could be things in between these, but we're just going with the main ones that probably spoke the loudest or meant the most, right? So now if you go into games, right, I would think it was started around DayZ, which was a mod to Armor 2 that came out in December 2013. So about a year after Hunger Games, the last movie at that time that was in the Battle Royale genre. Or big movie that was in the Battle Royale genre, right? Then after DayZ, you have H1Z1 3 years after that, right? And H1Z1 had it was like not a mod, it was like a mode. I think it was called King of the Hill or something like that, which was the Battle Royale portion of H1Z1, right? Now that was made by a guy who code name or gamer tag is, you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, ID is Player Unknown in H1Z1. And then he leaves, and not even a year later, let's say September, October, November, December, January, February, March, 6 months later, he brings out PUBG in alpha and or beta in March of 2017. And he's the one that's accredited for this Battle Royale mode. Even though if you look at it, and this still don't go to everyone because some people just don't know. He didn't create Battle Royale. As you see, that PUBG, if you want to go back to 2016 with the H1Z1, he made I think he was the developer of the King of the Hill, right? And the H1Z1, that's 2016. But Battle Royale, so far as I told you, have went back to 1999 and prior already. It was just big in theaters. All right, this is coming off the success of the Hunger Games franchise that went from 2012 to 2015 to 16, right? And then guess what comes out in 2016? H1Z1, all right? Then PUBG in 2017. So then after March 2017, you have Fortnite in September of 2016, September 26th that is. Fortnite's Battle Royale, not Fortnite as a whole, because I think Fortnite came out that summer in beta, because I was in the beta on PC as a founder, I believe. And then Fortnite comes out with its Battle Royale September 26th, or around September 26th of 2017. Then going to the bigger ones, again, we're not going to do the little ones or in betweens or the mobiles or any of that. It would be a year after that, which is Blackout inside the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 game, or attached to the Black Ops 4 game. The Blackout mode, that's October 2018. Now you have Apex Legends, which released February 4th of 2019. And then you have Battlefield 5's Battle Royale mode called Firestorm, that's coming out spring of 2019, so spring of this year. All right, so that's a little history going back as far as Battle Royale goes. All right, now I want to just talk about a couple things here, because everything is just plays off of everything else. Most things haven't been invented newly in a while. It's kind of been reinvented. So some of you might take this as some form of disrespect. You might feel some type of way because you love this game, you love that game, and PUBG is better than Fortnite, and Fortnite is better than PUBG, or whatever the case is. And y'all keep having this debate when, to me, they're two different games. And I felt the same way back in the day when people used to compare Call of Duty to Battlefield. Call of Duty, you can't compare Call of Duty and Battlefield. You can just say you prefer one over the other. Well, you can say whatever you want to. It's a free country. But Call of Duty and Battlefield is two different games. Two different games. One is an arcade and one is a simulation. And when that is the case, you can never compare head to head what's better as far as technical aspects of an arcade versus a simulation. They're two different games. They're meant to do two different things. They're besides probably their core of what they are as a, let's say, a first-person shooter. Outside of that, they're nothing alike. They're nothing alike. Well, outside of it, let's say Call of Duty. Let's say we're talking about Call of Duty and Battlefield. Outside of there being a first-person shooter, right, based in a multiplayer arena, they're nothing alike. They're two completely different games. The guns, the weapons handled differently. The setups are all different. The maps are all different. The mechanics are different on how either weapons works or perks work, or traversing, character speed, character customization, to the looks, the feels. To one is very fast paced, one is slower paced. They're way different. So you can't say, oh man, the PDW in Call of Duty feels better than the PDW in Battle. They're two different. It's only similar in the name, PDW alone, that weapon. Other than that, they're not going to even handle nothing alike. In the bigger view of things, they're two different. I can't compare Call of Duty and Battlefield, and in that sense, I can't compare PUBG and Fortnite. PUBG is trying to give you a simulated Battle Royale view, when Fortnite is just trying to give you a playful arcade view. They're two different games, people. Stop trying to compare them. Oh, I see people, oh man, Fortnite just looked too cartoony. Okay, that's the look it's supposed to be. It's the look it's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like the way it looks. But PUBG looks very real because it's a simulation. It's supposed to look that way, right? Like, what are we doing? The arguments are, they don't even match with what you're arguing. That one is better than the other. Like, you just naming the differences between the two. You're not saying anything that benefits your argument. You just saying, oh, one looks different, so that makes it worse. What? You saying the arcade is the arcade, so that makes it worse than simulation. Well, the arcade is the arcade, so that makes it better than the simulation because it's a little too real. It's just different. They're different games. We need to stop this. It don't make sense, right? And if people look at the greater scheme of things, I mean, look where they both at right now. That's the better game. If you just want to say it like that. If we talking about just popularity, if this is what people are basing everything on, you know what I mean? And one thing I can say, one thing I feel some type of way about, even though I've played both, and if I had to pick, I would choose Fortnite because it's a little more colorful, less technical, but the building is very technical. That the shooting is different. It's just different. But I really don't play either one of them anymore. I only played PUBG for a little while, and then it was just too many technical issues. And on the Fortnite side, I prefer playing Save the World than the Battle Royale mode. That's just me, so I stopped playing that maybe a few months after it kind of released. I did some videos on it, but other than that, I really didn't play it that much. And then I tried to get back into it, and Blackout when Call of Duty Black Ops 4 released in October. I tried to get back into it. I like it. It was smooth and everything, but Battle Royale kind of just not the way it's set up right now is kind of not my style. So I don't play them that much. All right, so that's me, and that's where I'm at with it. They're different games, not in the same realm at all. I wouldn't even compare Blackout with the rest of them because the first person shooter aspect changes it drastically. And yes, there's a difference between Blackout's first person shooter mode and PUBG's first person shooter mode. They're, again, two different things. That's like taking if you thinking about it, Blackout's Battle Royale mode is like having first person shooter mode on Fortnite, because it's an arcade. Blackout or Call of Duty period is an arcade game. It's not a simulation. So I couldn't compare it to PUBG. at all, even when PUBG has a first-person shooter mode, because they still different. For PUBG having the first-person shooter mode, I would have to compare that to Battlefield's, if anything, Battlefield's Battle Royale that's coming out, because they're both simulations and then they're both have first-person shooter. I would have to compare those two, but I couldn't compare PUBG to Blackout. Right, but then at the same time, I couldn't compare Blackout to Fortnite, even if it had a first-person shooter mode, because if you look at the setting, the building just changes the whole aspect of what you do in the game. You could be good at shooting, but if you can't build in Fortnite, it makes no difference, almost no difference at all. I'm pretty good at playing shooting games, and when it comes to Fortnite, I'm just not that good at building. That's not my thing. So I really don't make it too far. I do pretty good, but I don't make it too far. I think I've won a few. Again, I haven't played it probably in a year or so now, something like that. But that was just a little history on Battle Royale and where I'm at with it. But I say that to say, going back to the not inventing but inventing, is I can even accredit going back, if I'm looking at video games, period, I can take the Battle Royale back to just deathmatch modes in first-person shooters, whether it's Call of Duty or Battlefield, which are both pre-PUBG H1Z1, pre-DayZ. Modern Warfare 1, this is around the time I really got into first-person shooters. It was like 2005, 6, 7, something around that. But it's years, about a decade before DayZ. And a regular deathmatch, to a degree, is a battle royale. Every man for himself. You shoot to the death, or you shoot to the person got the most kills. Battle royale in the video game, the way we think of it now, right, is just every man for himself in this arena to the death. That's what a deathmatch is. And deathmatch has been in games for a long time now. Battle Royale just takes it to the point now where they changed the blueprint to where you only get one life. But I can also do this with more games. Rainbow Six Siege, especially if you're looking at just the bomb situation. You can take that back to Search and Destroy in some previous first-person shooters. It's all it is, Search and Destroy. Everyone got one life. You either defend the bomb, some try to attack and disable the bomb. That's it. That's what Rainbow Six Siege is. It's Search and Destroy expounded upon. So that's when I stated that a lot of things is invented lately, but just reinvented. A lot of these things already existed before, we just know it right now. Battle Royale is blowing up these last couple years, but has been around for at least 20 years. In our view, we've been watching it. We've been involved in it already for many of years. It's just now getting very popular right now. And I don't know, man. I think we overhyping battle royales. Like I said, they've been around. We've played similar modes already. I think it's just to the point where, since it's just taking a mode and bringing that mode to the light and expanding on that idea, like the Search and Destroy mode coming to the forefront, and then just taking it out and then building around that idea or building around that game mode, and getting or creating Rainbow Six Siege, which is big, right? Same thing with the deathmatch, taking it, expanding on it, and then you getting battle royale in some way, shape, or form. Or just bringing certain things to light. If that's the case, there's a lot of game modes in previous games that we can do that, and I'm pretty sure if I dug around right now, I can find other games that's been taken from other games modes inside their game and just brought to the forefront as a game as a whole, right? But that's all it is. People, you see things over a period of time and you, oh man, I like that. Well, what if this was, and what if that was, and then get something. You get a creative idea, or someone gets a creative idea, or whatever the case is. I like I said, I like battle royales. I really don't have a problem with them, but for the most part, they have to be different. If they're not different, then it's like, what are we doing? If we're not, we have enough copy and paste in the video game industry. We have enough copy and paste. I like going upon these. If I go back to PUBG, Fortnite, Blackout, Apex, and we haven't seen what Firestorm's going to be yet. All four of those battle royale games are different from each other. Whether you just want to put them in the same box and be like, oh man, it's just battle royale, they are the same. They're not. If you want to say that, then that's cool, because you're it's a freedom of speech. You got your opinion. Who am I? This is just my opinion. But those are four different games. PUBG is a third-person simulation. Fortnite is a third-person arcade. Blackout is a first-person arcade. And Apex is a team-based arcade. Team-based futuristic arcade. So those are totally four different game modes, or not game modes, variations of the battle royales. And I think they're gonna always have their communities intact. So this was my little history lesson. Excuse me, I'm thirsty. Hold on, let me get some of this water right quick. Let me get some of this water. Actually, that's tea. But yeah, just going back. It's nice to have. Like I said, I think we're overhyping it, and I think we need to tone it down a little bit. And go get some other game modes. We need more shooters. Period. Like, I don't know what people think right now about the shooting industry, but it's very, very one-sided. Most shooters are just, first of all, most shooters, especially the popular ones, are first-person shooters, right? And then our third-person shooters seem to be more adventure games and not in the arena-based shooters. And then most first-person shooters are just team-based first-person shooters. And I think that's why we have in the close quarters or the conquest settings like Battlefield. And that's all we've really known for many of years. Arcade or simulation. Battlefield way of doing it versus Call of Duty's way of doing it. And I think that's why PUBG hit as big as it did, because we really only had deathmatch every year, and you're just looking forward to the next deathmatch game, because that's the biggest ones we was getting, whether it's in name and the smoothest of gameplay alone, put those two ahead of everyone else. You're always going to get a certain experience with those two, and they was going to give it to you on a grand scale, on a very big scale. The advertising was going to be in your face, whether it's the entertainers or whoever is in the commercials selling it, the endorsements, celebrity endorsements, and all this, the big esports events. So Battlefield and Call of Duty kind of took over for a while. So I think with them having a run for so long, when a different shooter gave you that deathmatch feel, but in a different way, I think we kind of didn't know how to act, and we kind of just overhyped it a little bit. It's a very cool mode to have. It's a very cool game to have. But let's not get it twisted. It's just one game mode from previous games or from other games that gave you a lot more. No disrespect to battle royales. Like I said, I'm finding a new love for playing Apex Legends. The way they do it is, I don't know, man. I've been playing it like crazy. I've been playing like every day except one day because of schoolwork. But I really love what they're doing over there. So shout out to them. Shout out Respawn Entertainment again. I think I said that in the last video. But I gotta make sure to show respect and give props where props and respect is due. And Respawn Entertainment definitely deserves it. I love previously when they was part of the original Infinity Ward, and they made Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, and then I love Titanfall 1, and I love Titanfall 2. So I'm gonna support them on Apex Legends as much as I can. If any of y'all listening to this, y'all make sure to tag Respawn and EA in this, man. Tell them holla at your boy Ice over at AAA Gaming Network. Tell them holla at your boy Ice. Make sure they subscribe too to the AGN GameCast. But that's all that's kind of all I want to say, man. Just a little history on the Battle Royale and trying to give my opinions over it. I think we could, if you look at what happened to the Battle Royale mode or Battle Royale and look at what happened to Rainbow Six, I think we can get more games like these. I think there's a lot of modes out there. It seems like we really can't invent something right now completely new. And if you look at previous shooting games, there's a lot of Call of Duty and Battlefield have a lot of game modes. I'm not saying that they originated these game modes, but they have a lot of game modes in them. If we can go and pick some of those game modes and then expand on them to get Rainbow Six Siege, to get Battle Royale, then let's go check out some of those modes and then build upon them if they're worth it. Or other games, we can do the same thing with. But yeah, man, that's just my 2 cents. I just want to talk about the history of Battle Royale a little bit, give my takes on them. I hope Battlefield 5's Firestorm, again, coming spring of this year. I hope it's something different. It is a simulation. It's first person. I don't know what the map is going to feel like or be like. I don't know, man. It's only going to be the second, actually the third. First, now it'll be the third because Apex Legends is out. Third first-person shooter Battle Royale, mainstream shooter out now. Would have been the second behind Blackout, but again, Apex Legends came out on the 4th of this month. I don't really know what to expect from it, man. And with Apex Legends coming out, I think Firestorm might be in trouble. They're going to be 2 different ones again. Apex is an arcade. I'm assuming Firestorm, if it's anything like the Battlefield franchise, it's going to be a simulation. So it's going to be 2 different. Yeah, they're going to be 2 different, but I don't know. Some people are going to put them in direct competition because they're so close, but I'm trying to think if Firestorm is just going to be late to the party, man. I mean, like I said, this will be the 1, 2. If I'm counting H1Z1, this will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Battle Royale in the last 3 years. Right now, PUBG is still going. But if you look at the views and streams, it's not going that well. I can only assume that's probably due to them still having technical issues, a lot of technical issues over there. PUBG, Fortnite is still going strong, still one of the most viewed and most streamed games right now. A lot of times it's still #1. Blackout is doing very well. Apex Legends is doing ridiculous right now, but it is new. And I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to be late to the party. I think it should have been ready on release, or they shouldn't release it. But that's me. Maybe nah, cause Blackout supposedly. This has just been put out there. Well, not just been put out there, but this has been put out there. I don't know how true it is that Blackout might be going free to play on its own, standalone, like Apex is, right? Like separate from the Blackout mode. And I think they think that they're going to get a lot of more players in the Blackout mode and using the black market, right, to buy the microtransactions. That would be a good thing for Call of Duty to do. take Blackout out of that package. Firestorm not supposed to be separated, as far as I know. They're supposed to still be in the Battlefield, attached to the Battlefield game, but I don't know if that's gonna bring in a lot of players. I don't know if a lot of people are gonna play Firestorm. I don't know, man. It's just mixed things. This is supposed to be a short video, man. We at like the 30-minute mark right now. But yeah, man, just let me know. I don't want to keep y'all. We try to do around 30 minutes or less. Just let me know what you guys think, man. Did you know about the Battle Royale book? Did you know Battle Royale goes back that far, and even further, right? Did you know about the movie? Did you even think about those? That Hunger Games and The Condemned were Battle Royale movies. Did you know DayZ's kind of where it started at, going into H1Z1 that expanded upon it, because H1Z1 was a mod and updated version from DayZ, which allowed the King of the Hill mode to be in place in H1Z1 and then to be expounded upon even further when the PlayerUnknown left and made PUBG. Alright, did you even know that Fortnite Battle Royale and PUBG came out in the same year? Did y'all know that? Did a lot of you know that? Because a lot of people give Fortnite slack for copying, but if you look at the reviews and everything that Fortnite got upon release, right? Battlefield had been in the making for a little while, if you can consider that it came from H1Z1, right? So at the time of PUBG release, they had probably been working on this mode between the two games, or PlayerUnknown had been working on this mode for 2 games. So you can argue that PUBG had been made for 2 years, just for Fortnite to come out like 6 months after the fact and make a game that people arguably say is better 6 months later. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Shout out Epic, man, for getting yourself in that conversation like that. But yeah, man, this your boy Ice, man. I'm out of here. But shout out everybody. Shout out DayZ from where it kind of started. H1Z1, PUBG, Fortnite, Blackout, Apex Legends, and shout out Firestorm that's coming down the drain pipe this spring once again. It's your boy Ice Revolver. Make sure you comment over at the AAA Gaming Network on our Facebook page. That's what it's called, AAA Gaming Network. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, AGN GAMECAST, if you're listening to this on Google, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, whatever your favorite podcasting listening app or go-to platform is. Again, if you want to comment, if you want to talk, make sure you go over to our Facebook channel at AAA Gaming Network, where this will have a video in it, and I release my podcasts over there also, along with my YouTube channel. So if you want to comment, you can go on one of those two. Make sure you leave a comment, you know what I mean, and I try to get back to everyone that comments. If you want to talk, if you don't want to talk, hey, just go to the podcast, subscribe, and listen to it. Weekly content, man. I'm trying to give you guys at least 1 a week, but so far I've been doing 2 a week just to build my catalog, so you guys can come over here and you can have just more than one thing to listen to or to chime in on. Again, all of these, all of my podcasts are also on the page. So if you listen to an older podcast, you can go to the Facebook page, you go to YouTube, you can find it, and still want to leave your feedback or comment, you can do that, and I will still respond to you. We try to get back to everybody. All right, we did this whole podcast is to spark conversation in the video game industry, man. So once again, this is your boy Ice Revolver, man. Make sure you hit that follow button if you're on Facebook. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're on your favorite podcasting platform, whichever that is. Yeah, man, make sure you leave a comment to say what other topics you want me to touch on, what other topics you want to hear about or maybe be involved in. Coming up, I'm trying to get in viewers to do podcasts with the viewers, right? So they can chime in and have a back and forth about certain topics. So again, hit that follow button, man. It's much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button. It's much appreciated. Also, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time you listening to this, man. Just you listening is much appreciated. Thank you. Later, love, peace.
Hey, where you learn that from? Grand Theft Auto 3? Word, can I borrow that? You got a PlayStation 2? Nah, I got GameCast. GameCast? Well, there's GameCube and then there's Dreamcast. What you got?
Well, I said I got GameCast, man. Damn, I can't afford it.
My bad. I'm just